Leave the World Behind is the latest film from writer, director, and showrunner Sam Ismail. And if you don't recognize that name, you've probably watched one of his shows. He's the man behind the excellent Mr. Robot and Homecoming on Amazon Prime. Sam is known for his unique visual style, and his work is usually a blast to watch. But we're going to circle back to that later on. Leave the World Behind is about a family that takes a spontaneous getaway to a rental home outside of Manhattan. All is going well until two strangers show up at the door claiming to be the owners of the house. Meanwhile, the world has gone on a massive blackout and no one can piece together what is happening. What happens next is a spiraling, twisty, mostly good thriller. Leave the World Behind has a loaded cast. You got Julia Roberts, you got Ethan Hawke, you got Mahershala Ali, and my man Kevin Bacon. And I'm happy to report that they're all amazing. I actually want to put a spotlight on Ali because he is phenomenal. This guy needs to be in every film ever made from here on out. Roberts and Hawke also put in some crazy strong performances, but Ali stole the show for me. And Mr. Footloose, with little screen time, definitely makes an impression. So this movie reminded me of two things. The first was M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin, and the second is The Twilight Zone. This actually feels like a very good but long episode of Twilight Zone. I think Ismail does a decent job at keeping the audience in the dark about what's happening outside of their house. It creates an ongoing mystery of the unknown that just hovers over the entire film. For me, I actually didn't watch the trailer. I just turned the film on, not knowing what to expect, and man, it took me for some twists and turns. For a solid 15-20 minutes, I legit thought this film was going to be a house invasion film. But nope, I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. The film kept me on my toes, and I was along for the twisty wild ride I was on. There are many sequences in this film that are intense, edge-of-your-seat type stuff. And what I love about these sequences is that they're almost always two scenes happening simultaneously. It's not bad enough to just watch one intense scene, but Ismail, multiple times in the movie, gives us two happening at the same time. It's a baller move and it works completely. I think where the movie really grabbed me is actually the part of the film that most people probably dislike. At least I'm guessing it is. See, for the first hour and 20 minutes or so, the pacing is pretty quick. We're introduced to many obstacles and mysteries that keep us engaged, wondering what's going to happen next. Then, at about an hour and a half into the film, the movie comes to a screeching halt. And when it does, we get two conversations happening simultaneously, and these conversations last for, I don't know, I would guess 15 or 20 minutes. So that's right, a fast-paced mystery thriller after an hour and a half of intrigue slows down completely so that these four characters can just talk for a while. And I love that. I love that so much. It's legit my favorite section of the movie. Oh, and it all ends with a dance sequence with Ali and Roberts, which is a big W. I want to talk style here because, as I said earlier, Ismail has a pretty unique style. I think sometimes it works to the film's advantage and sometimes it detracts. As an example, without giving too much away, there are a couple, let's say, disaster scenes, and he films them all in wide shots as they're happening in real time. It gives you a great sense of scale and panic every time he shows these disasters happen. There's one shot that happens on a beach that is just absolutely incredible. For the most part, I think his style works well with this story, but then there are moments where it doesn't, like in dialogue scenes. See, Sam likes to move the camera, and he likes to have wild camera angles. Dutch angles, bird's eye, rotations, you name it, he does it. However, it sometimes feels a bit too showy. Like, did he really need to do this or that with the camera as the characters are talking? Probably not. Is it cool? I guess? In my opinion, sometimes doing less is actually more. But hey, I don't know. That's just me. The last thing I'll say before wrapping up here is that I think the film is just too long. It clocks in at about 2 hours and 20 minutes, and they could have shaved off 15 or 20 of those minutes. While I was mostly entertained, the plot's mysteries went on for so long that it became a little annoying. I think there's a balance you need to have with how much information you give your audience. You either give your audience too much or not enough. And this film leans heavily on the not enough. In fact, technically you don't actually know what's happening until the final minutes of the film. And while in concept I admire that decision, but as an audience member I didn't feel like the reveal was worth the wait. In the end, it's a fun, entertaining Twilight Zone-esque thriller that is sure to please the Netflix crowd. I, for one, was pretty satisfied as the credits rolled. That's it, folks. Thanks for watching. If you love the sound of my voice, then please hit that like button and subscribe. And until the next time, I say cheers.